Welcome, everyone. I'm back with another one. This one is called Sylvester and the Magic Pebble. Do you know it? By William Steig. Sylvester Duncan lived with his mother and father at an acorn road in Oaksdale. One of his hobbies was collecting pebbles of unusual shapes and colors. On a rainy Saturday during vacation time, he found a quite beautiful one. It was flaming red, it was shiny, and it was perfectly round, just like a marble. As he was studying this pebble, he began to shake, probably from excitement. And the rain felt so cold on his back. "I wish it would stop raining," he said. To his great surprise, the rain stopped. It didn't stop gradually, as if rains usually do. It just stopped completely. Not a drop in the sky. The clouds disappeared. Everything was dry. Wow. In all his young life, Sylvester had never had a wish come true. It struck him that magic must be at work. And he guessed that the magic must be in the pebble. To make a test, he put the pebble on the ground and said, "I wish it would rain again." But nothing happened. But when he said the same thing holding the pebble, guess what? It started raining again. He was in shock. He wished the sunshine back in the sky, and he wished a wart on his leg would disappear. And it did. And he started home, eager to tell Mom and Dad about his magic pebble. He could hardly wait to see their faces. Maybe, just maybe, they wouldn't even believe him at first. What a lucky day this is, he thought. From now on, I can have anything I want. My father and mother can have anything they want. My relatives, my friends, and anybody at all can have everything they want. As he was crossing Strawberry Hill on the way home, thinking of some of the many things he's going to wish for, he was startled to see a mean and hungry lion looking right at him from behind the grass. He was scared. If he hadn't been so scared, he would have made the lion disappear. Or he could have wished the lion away. But he stood there. He could even wish the lion would turn into a butterfly or a daisy. He could have wished many things, but he panicked. And he couldn't even think carefully. Guess what he said? "I wish I were a rock," he said. And he became a rock. OMG. The lion bounded over, sniffed the rock 100 times, walked around it, and then finally went away confused. "I saw that little donkey as clear as day," he thought, "but maybe I'm going crazy." And the lion left. And there was Sylvester, a rock, on Strawberry Hill, with the magic pebble lying right beside him on the ground. and he was unable to pick it up. Oh, I wish I were myself again, he thought, but nothing happened. He had to be touching the rock or the little pebble to make the magic work, but there was nothing he could do about it. His thoughts began to race like mad. He was scared. He was worried. He was being helpless. He felt hopeless. He thought of all the things that could happen to him. He then realized that his only chance of becoming himself again was for someone to find the little red pebble and to wish that the rock next to it would be a donkey. Someone would surely find this red pebble, he said to himself. It was bright and shiny. But what on earth would make them say, I wish the rock were a donkey? Oh no, I may be stuck like this forever. The chance is 1 in a billion. Sylvester finally fell asleep. What else could he do? Night came with many, many stars. Meanwhile, back at home, Mr. and Mrs. Duncan paced the floor, worried, frantic. Where is Sylvester? Sylvester had never not come home before dinner. Where could he be? They stayed up all night wondering what happened, expecting that Sylvester would surely turn up by morning, but he didn't. Miss Duncan cried a lot. Mr. Duncan did his best to soothe her. Both of them longed to have their dear son back with them. I will never scold Sylvester again as long as I live, said his mom, no matter what he does. In the morning, they went about inquiring at all the neighbors' house. They talked to all the animals, all the children, the puppies, the kittens, the cubs, the piglets. No one had seen Sylvester since the day before yesterday. Then they even went to the cops. They asked the police, could you find him? Have you seen my child? All the dogs in Oaksdale went searching for him. Everybody was looking for Sylvester. They sniffed behind every rock. They sniffed behind every tree, behind all the grass, in front of every nook, everywhere. But they didn't find a scent of him. They sniffed the rock on Strawberry Hill. But it smelled just like a rock. It didn't smell like Sylvester. After a month of searching the same place over and over and over again, asking the same animals over and over and over again, Mr. and Mrs. Duncan no longer knew what to do. They decided that something terrible happened to Sylvester and that they would never see their son again. They tried their best to be happy, to go about their usual ways, but their usual ways always included Sylvester. They were very miserable. Life had no meaning for them anymore. Night followed day, day followed night, over and over again. Sylvester on the hill woke up less and less often. When he was awake, he was only hopeless and unhappy. He felt he would be a rock forever, and he tried to get used to being a rock. He went into endless sleep. Days grew cold, fall came, and the leaves changed colors. Then the leaves fell and the grass came out. Then it was winter. Ooh, the wind blew this way and that way. It snowed. The animals stayed indoors, living on the food they had stored up. One day a wolf even sat on the rock that was Sylvester, and he howled and howled because he was hungry. Then the snow melted. The earth warmed up in the spring, and all the sun came out and the things budded. Leaves were on the trees again. Flowers showed their young faces. Still, Sylvester was nothing but a rock. One day in May, though, Sylvester's mom insisted that she wanted to have a picnic. "Let's cheer up," she said. "Let us try to live again and be happy again, even though Sylvester was not here." They decided to go for the picnic on Strawberry Hill. Mrs. Duncan, Sylvester's mom, she sat on the rock. The warmth of his own mother sitting on him woke Sylvester up from his sleep. How he wanted to shout, "Mom, Mother, Mom, Mom. It's me, Sylvester, I'm right here." But he couldn't talk because he was a rock. He had no voice. Mr. Duncan, Sylvester's dad, he walked aimlessly about while Sylvester's mom set out the picnic food on the rock. Sandwiches, pickles, salad, and more. Suddenly, Mr. Duncan saw a red pebble on the grass. "What a fantastic pebble!" he exclaimed. "Sylvester would have loved to have this for his collection." He put the pebble on the rock. They sat down to eat. Sylvester was wide awake as a donkey that was a rock could possibly be. His mom felt some mysterious excitement. "You know, Father," she said, "I have the strangest feeling that our dear Sylvester is still alive and he's not very far away. It's just a feeling." I am, Sylvester wanted to shout, but he couldn't. If only he had realized that the pebble was resting on his back. His magic pebble. "Oh, how I wish he were here with us on this lovely May day," said Sylvester's mom. Mr. Duncan looked sadly at the ground. "Don't you wish it too, Father?" she said to him. He looked at her as if to say, "How can you even ask me such a question? Of course I miss my son." Mr. and Mrs. Duncan looked at each other with great sorrow. "I wish I were myself again. I wish I were my real self again," thought Sylvester. And in less than an instant, he was himself. Yay! He popped out of the rock and he was himself again. He imagined the scene that followed. The embrace, the kisses, the questions. Mom was happy, Dad was happy. The answers, the loving looks, and the fondness. All three of them right there on Strawberry Hill. When they had eventually calmed down a bit and had gotten home, Mr. Duncan put the magic pebble in an iron safe. He wanted to keep it safe. Someday they might want to use this, but for now, we have everything we want. What could we ask for right now? Nothing. They had all they had ever wanted. Sylvester back home safely. The end.